You know, when you think of protective gear, your mind probably jumps straight to high-tech, super expensive materials. But what do you do when all that stuff is just completely out of reach? Well, this is a story about an absolutely brilliant piece of innovation from Sudan, an idea born purely out of necessity. So let's dive into how they pulled this off.
So this is really the core challenge, right? For so many people around the world, safety isn't something you can just click and order online. It's a problem that forces you to totally rethink everything you have around you.
And that's exactly the mindset that two engineering students from Al Jazeera University had. Instead of getting hung up on what they didn't have, they saw potential where, believe me, nobody else was looking.
Okay, so first, let's really break down the problem they were trying to solve. And it all starts with something pretty basic, the incredibly high cost of just staying safe.
This right here shows the massive gap they were facing. On one side, you've got these imported vests made of stuff like Kevlar, super effective, sure, but almost impossibly expensive and just really hard to get in Sudan. And on the other side, you have this urgent, everyday need for protection, for police, security guards, even regular civilians. So, facing this huge gap, the students did something smart. They looked locally. Their solution was completely unconventional, and the key material, well, it came from a place I guarantee you would never, ever guess.
Just take a second and think about that. What kind of everyday material that's just around is built for extreme stress and durability? What could actually be tough enough to stop a blade? And there it is. This is the brilliant part. Industrial conveyor belts. Yep, that's the answer. Specifically, these tough, high-density polyester belts from local mining operations in Wad Madani. It was tough, it was cheap, and best of all, it was right there. The perfect local solution.
So, how do you actually turn a conveyor belt into a piece of life-saving equipment? Well, it's all about how you build it, literally, layer by layer.
And the process itself is just beautifully simple. First up, they start with a basic pattern for the front and back. Then they carefully cut each layer of material to the right shape. After that, they sew it all together with an industrial-strength machine. And for the finishing touch, they just add some adjustable Velcro straps. This is something that doesn't need a high-tech factory. It can be made right there in a local workshop.
Now, each layer here serves a very specific purpose. You've got this tough denim on the outside for general durability. Then there's a layer of sponge to absorb the initial shock from an impact. And right in the middle, the hero of the whole thing, that conveyor belt core. That's what really stops the blade. Then, against the body, they added some supportive fabric and a breathable air mesh for comfort. It's a complete, really well-thought-out system.
Of course, the million-dollar question is, does it actually work? It's one thing to build something clever in a workshop, but it's a whole other thing to trust your life with it. So let's get to the moment of truth.
All right, test number one. They went up against a really common threat, a sharp knife, applied with some serious force. This was the test to see if it could handle a real-world stabbing or slicing attack.
And the result? Just 2 millimeters of penetration. I mean, that's barely a scratch. The most crucial part here is that the conveyor belt core, the part that really matters, was never breached. The vest actually worked.
But a knife isn't the only threat out there, so for the second test, they used a metal screwdriver. This was to simulate a more focused, high-pressure attack. You know, something sharp, but without a cutting edge.
And get this, the result here was even more impressive. 0 penetration. Absolutely nothing got through. The layered design completely stopped it, proving it could handle that kind of focused, high-pressure force.
So the bottom line from their own research was crystal clear. The design was a total success. It could absorb the shock and, most importantly, it stopped sharp objects from getting all the way through.
But you know, this story is about so much more than just a clever piece of engineering. It's really about what that engineering represents, a real path towards self-sufficiency.
And when you put them side by side, the difference is just night and day. Instead of crazy expensive Kevlar, they're using high-density polyester. Instead of sky-high costs, it's cheap because it's locally sourced. And instead of needing complex factories, this can be made in a simple, local workshop. It's a completely different and much more accessible model.
And they even thought about practicality. The whole thing weighs about 3.5 kilograms. That's roughly 7.7 pounds. They designed it to be manageable enough for daily wear, balancing the weight so it's not a huge burden. It's not just effective, it's practical.
So when you step back, the impact here is just huge. This goes way beyond just one vest. It promotes local self-sufficiency in Sudan and cuts down on the need for those expensive imports. It's proof that academic research can solve critical, real-world problems for a community. It's basically a blueprint for local manufacturing.
And all of this it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other incredible, life-saving solutions are out there? Not in some high-tech lab, but just hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone to look at the world just a little bit differently.